Hi y'all, welcome back to the ranch where we're always living life up to no grid. Those pigs, they eat a lot. Join along with me today. We're going to get another load of feed. Good morning, piggies. Good morning, piggies. Okay, y'all, now that everybody's fed, this feeder is actually about out, if you couldn't tell, and I need to go get feed today. We had problems with rain running down and then running in through this opening. There's no way to caulk it shut or it wouldn't be able to slide. So that's why we put this IBC Tote cover on, and that seems to be working remarkably well. However, before that happened, we did get a little bit of water in the bottom that the feed soaked up, and we just want to get some of that out of there to make sure it's not moldy or anything like that. So today, what I am going to do is get any good feed out of here, and that I'll use for tonight's feeding, or Zach will. And then I'm going to sift through it and throw out anything that might be clumpy, that might have potential mold. I don't see any mold. I don't see any bugs. And it's not like super wet. It's still a little bit crumbly, but I just don't want to risk feeding anything possibly bad to the pigs. The chickens, however, will probably eat it because they don't seem to care. And it's mostly just right up here to the front. You can kind of see that that's a little sticky there. But our hope is that with this next round with the IBC tote, that we don't have to worry about this moisture issue anymore. Garden hoe is such a useful tool. Alright, I think that was about it. I don't see anything else, so just gonna sift through and get the bad out here. And then I'll finish putting the rest of this in this bucket, because I'd like to have an empty tote when we go get feed, just so I can get the max amount of feed at one time as possible. These chickens know that this is the feed trailer, and I don't even feed them that much anymore because they come down here and have like an all-you-can-eat buffet with the pigs all the time. I think that's good. Just toss this out. Now we'll finish emptying the feed. I'd say it's perfect timing for getting new feed. Couldn't have timed it any better, actually, because that is not enough to feed everybody in tonight's feeding. So definitely have to get feed today. Some of you might be wondering about this feed trailer, so I'll just give you a quick little rundown of it before we go and get feed. And it is essentially, this is an old pop-up camper trailer, and we didn't really use it a lot for anything anymore. And we had an extra IBC tote, so I asked my husband, Zach, to fab something up, and he's pretty good at that kind of thing. So he just built a frame at the bottom for this to sit in. Actually, the frame, it came as a shipment for part of an implement, and then he welded feet on it to give it a little bit of an angle. And then when the feed is full, then it tilts down to the ground on this end, and that end sticks up in the air so that the grain naturally flows out of the gate here with just gravity. And then as it gets lighter, obviously it comes up to where it is now. But it's super lightweight. It's a little bit back end heavy, so towing, I need to be careful, but the feed store is not that far away, so no issues there. Okay, time to go get the car and get this thing hooked up so we can go get some feed. Always check your lights before you leave anywhere, just to be safe. Okay, off to the feed store. Okay, y'all, I got a little ways down the road here and realized that this frame started blowing into the IBC cover and then ripped it. I think it'll still be usable because we just need it to keep water off the other side. But if I didn't stop and take it off now, there wasn't going to be a cover left to use. So real quick, we're going to take this off. We are at a stop sign, not parked directly in the middle of the road. So that's a good sign. We'll put this back on after a bit. Okay, y'all, so we're here at the feed store and small town feed store here, so I needed to call them. They're out in the pasture, which is fine, but I thought I would show you real quick what we do to actually get feed. So a typical IBC tote just has a regular opening right here, and that poses a problem for how to get it out of that chute and fill this whole tote. No problem though, because Zach built an adapter. So all we do is unscrew this, and he took a spare lid and used the collar of it, and we screw that right on just like you would a lid. Now it looks like we have a bucket attached, but good news, Now I can just drive up underneath that chute and they'll fill us with feed. Works. So y'all can see that we've got it hooked up here. That's how it works. We just feed that feed in nice and slow. Sometimes we have to rock the trailer a little bit because the feed all wants to go to one spot instead of going throughout the whole IBC tote. But other than that one minor flaw, these guys here are, like I said, small local farm feed store, and they have been more than willing to work with us on this homemade feed trailer, and it works out great for us. So they're going to get the hopper loaded full. We're going to put about 1,000 pounds in here. So we get the hopper loaded, and then we're going to fill this with about 1,000 pounds of feed. I'll pay, and then it'll be time to get on the road. Really tight. Tighten, go lay down. Go on. Guys, this trailer and I fight all the time. I can get hooked up, fine. Getting unhooked doesn't work. I'm always telling Zach I'm afraid the trailer's going to tip up and hit me in the face. And he reminded me it can only tip up so far because of the dovetail at the end of the trailer. But it still gives me the heebie-jeebies trying to get this thing undone. There it goes. Just raising that floor. Not coming done. Got it. Okay. Now the feed can gravity feed out like it's supposed to. I'm going to get the IBC tote cover put back on. I don't think those rips that were in it before is really going to affect it because the water can come in on this side. It's going to drain down. Mostly it's just to keep it off of the top. So I'll get that put back on real quick. So the frame sticks out a little bit here now, which is where it kind of tore, but I think that's going to be okay. Like I said, if water gets in, it's just going to drain down that way. The key is to keep it off of the top so that it can't roll onto that feed door, and then of course off of the feed door. So I wish I'd have been thinking and got that off before we traveled, but it is what it is. Okay, that's going to be it for today, y'all. Remember, never a dull day at the ranch.